triptych of understanding law as a human-made construct with fundamental and detrimental errors. 1. Law of water. The Ohio River snakes the belly of the so much to discover state. You stand in Cincinnati, face in brisk wind, grip the metal railing lining the church cliff, and overlook the water. You think of a nation possessed by borders, liminal spaces, deny, permeate, and argument in our flawed brains. A human kidney is made up of 85% water. The lungs, 80%. You shudder. Stone in your throat, hairs on your neck rise. The article read, unofficial extension of the Mason-Dixon line. Nothing unofficial in this place. Clouds form a spinal column above your head, dissipate. You think of the Great Migration, of the amygdala's governance of the body. Your jaw rolls extension, and you chew and chew the physicality of division. North, south, black, white, free, not free. Delusions of a country where a Confederate flag becomes a swastika, a badge, a symbol of racial violence. A sickness of bias encodes in our minds. We call this sickness racism. We call this sickness white supremacy. How we haunt ourselves. You feel your own ghost here, in claw and tension behind ribs, between vertebrae. Your ghost whispers to echoes of lives passing through, passing in, the streaming below. Your cells hold ancestry of migration. You came to the water to see. You came to the water to understand your brown body taking space where history unravels it. You came to the water to pray the tension inside and outside your chest subsides, heals. You came to understand we hold inside us both curse and cure, time warp and time. A New Testament to tear down borders, laws, policies that abandon the marginalized. How imaginary lines continue to carve wounds in Black and brown communities. Claudia Rankine said, because white men can't police their imagination, Black people are dying. To close your eyes and imagine a future lineage not scarred with incarceration and death. To see with your own eyes the crossing. To see with your own eyes the crossing should never have been necessary. Two, law of numbers. In a system, a body, a system, seen as system, not seen. Calculation in statistics, say correctional control, 300,000 Ohio residents under, say correctional control, 233,000 people on probation in, say correctional control, makes our state fourth in a grotesque accolade, say correctional control, of mass correctional control, leaders in lockup, incarceration, separation, cleaving of a life living. In a system, a Black body, a system, seen as system, not seen. 13% of Ohio population, 34% of jail population, 45% of prison population. In algebraic expressions, letters represent variables, numbers in disguise. In an x plus y equation, understanding begins with C. Look at C. Calculate back. Some words that begin with C, corrupt cops' croistic cognitions create concocted criminals. Now look at R. Calculate back. Some words that begin with R, Racist rules regulate roles, restrict reformed radicalization. All equations carry a weight of history. Solving for whom? What happens to a broken equation? Who sutures the math? Makes the illogical logical? Who gets to be mathematician? Who number? Over and over, who number? Say inequitable power distribution and feel the failure of language, failure of numbers, failure of laws. How systems designed with racist ideations seismatically destroy a life in motion, a life living in a system that does not see. Today, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Tomorrow, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. Next day, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. People. Day after, 12,600 locked up in pretrial. We teeter on curveless lines and spike, and our lips mouth exponential growth. And our lips mouth sister, brother, father, mother, cousin, lover, husband, daughter, son, friend, aunt, uncle, 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 uncle. A plea before the wrist snaps. We've always known of the wrestling. A litany of human beings. What division resembles in a body of flesh, body of state, body of collective thought, body of freedom, free will, body torn by a system that breaks us, cracks our spine, and mocks. Now dance. You said you wanted to dance. Three, law of cells. We internal as much as external. We, our frontal lobes in synapse and fire. We, our tissues on bone in govern of cells. We flesh on tissues in govern of cells. We organs in govern of cells. Cells of our bodies. Cytoplasm of biomolecules, of proteins and nucleic acids enclosed in membrane. On January 5th, 2021, Ohio's inmate population equals 43,695. 30 trillion cells inside one body. July 2020, inmate numbers equal 23,544 white men and women, 20,450 black men and women, 1,819 other men and women. Cells bind us. Cells contain us. Cells in tandem designed to function as a whole, not separate us, not collapse us, not redact us, never meant to define us. So much life inside a cell. Ohio demographics equal 78.6% white men and women, 12.2% black men and women, 7.44% other men and women. What does it mean to be black or other in relation to the law in Ohio? 19.64% of population, yet 48.61% of inmates? We want to call a broken thing unconstitutional. We want to call a thing that only benefits some inequitable. What words mean to a family without their 30 trillion cells they call father. And empty exists in labels versus actions. Did you vote for something broken? Did you know it's broken? Or do you believe my otherness makes me deserving of a law that whiteness does not feel the weight of? Do my cells not equal the same numbers as your cells? We must be allowed to count. Count all. Ohio daily average cost per inmate equals $64.45. We not cells on a spreadsheet not adding up. We not cells of steel and brick. Our faces not in silhouette behind bar grillage, mortar of 70 square feet deemed standard minimum by American Correctional Association. When do we learn? A human does not equal money. How much does 22,269 times 30 trillion cells weigh? Collapse in the calculation over the logic. If we must calculate only to feel the weight. Such immensity of life contained in a system broken by whiteness. Feel the weight in your mind. Feel. You might say the system isn't broken. A white system works for whiteness. Designed by whiteness. No balance ever existed. We speak of a new type of balance in a post-colonial nation that has yet to demonstrate equity, what freedom looks like. Look. Cells bind us. Cells contain us. Cells in tandem designed to function as a whole, not separate us, not collapse us, not redact us, never meant to define us. So much life inside a cell.